now find the stream, shall we? There's a stream there. It's currently uploading to the channel as I speak. Let's wait time. There it is there. Okay, audio is working accordingly. The stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. And just before I get into things, there is one little change I forgot to do. There we are. Change that to miles an hour. You get the spectator stuff up as well. All lovely. So we're all set and ready to go. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the opening round of the PlayStation America Series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event and hopefully for the entirety of this championship season. And for round one of this championship, we'll be racing here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, home of the Belgian Grand Prix. What lays in front of the drivers tonight is a 4.35 mile, 19-turn circuit that is widely considered to be one of the greatest in the history of motorsport. Spa is a track to be feared and a track to be respected. If a driver falls short of showing that respect, the track bites, and bites hard. Every corner, all 19 of them, can in some way ruin somebody's race. Whether it be the infamous curves of Eau Rouge and Radillon, the high-speed, high-intensity sweeper of Pouon, or even a tight, slow chicane at the end of the racetrack, the famous bus stop chicane. With these traction-limited F1 cars, every area around this legendary racetrack is a hot spot for danger. The circuit also contains two DRS zones that lead into the Turn 1 hairpin of La Source and head down the Camel Straight into the Turn 5-6 chicane of Les Combes, where we'll be seeing peak speeds of around 210 miles an hour. These provide the best overtaking opportunities around the racetrack. There are other opportunities elsewhere, but for the most part, overtaking will take place within the two DRS zones. So, we're bound to see committed driving, high-speed action. Danger is looming around every corner. And from the looks of things, the weather appears to be okay. Hopefully I can get that weather report from KD so I can see what the weather's going to be like during the race. But for now, it's going to be dry. So we've got a lot of things to await heading into the race tonight. It kind of really reaffirms the idea that there's no place quite like Spa. Now, the introductions out of the way, we can start to focus on qualifying. Axis here on a flying lap, making his way through Eau Rouge and Radillon. Completely flat out, but you do have to be quite careful as Captain Schmeck has left the session. The car likes to bottom out through that famous section. It's actually really unnerving to experience the car just skating along the tarmac as you head up the famous hill. Coming out of Turn 7, heading down towards Turn 8. This right-hander is has got negative camber, which tries to push the car away from the racing line, so you have to try and keep it nice and tight. Coming out to No Name and heading towards Pouon, probably the most famous corner for us esports drivers. That inside curve is a complete nightmare. You touch that, you spin. It's almost a guarantee. Around Turn 12 and 13, you can see the back end not cooperating on the Aston Martin, but Axis is keeping control of the car. Coming out of Stavalo, heading around Turn 16, the beginning of the final sector here at Spa. Heading up the hill towards Turn 17, Blanchimont. In dry conditions, this corner is completely flat out, no problem, as you can see. In wet weather conditions, it turns into a total nightmare. Now through the bus stop chicane, turns 18 and 19 on the racetrack, then back onto the main straightaway to cross the line. Access will set a 1 minute 43.191. That is the benchmark for the drivers to beat. JBH heading down the hill towards Turn 8. Rebellion beginning a flying lap, heading towards the first sector split. It's coming towards the end of a flying lap. Renner Jr. had a fine season during Season 6. I'm sure he'll be looking to improve on his finishing position last season. Crosses the line, goes second quickest with a 1 minute 44.416. Easy Rider P3, followed by Sir Jake in P4. As forward 23 in the Alfa Romeo has just jumped up to P2. Closely following him is Collider in the Alpine, a 1 minute 44.645. It's actually quite close between three of those drivers, actually four of them, from forward down to Easy Rider. It's only half a second, but 1.1 seconds clear. Actually, not anymore. Someone else has taken pole position. That's KD 1997. He's jumped up to the top with a 1 minute 43.143. Nicely on cue there. Because, yeah, Axis was well and truly in front of just about everybody, but KD has just matched his time. Gone that little bit faster. Nico in P3 in the AlphaTauri as well with a 44.161. Currently 1 second, just under 1 second behind Axis. So it's a fairly big gap between the top two to P3. But hopefully we'll see that shrink over the course of qualifying. It appears that Rebellion is going back into the pit lane as Guitar Hero has left the session. And Rafa is out of qualifying as well. I didn't spot what happened to Rafa. I'm not sure if he retired on track. But he is out of qualifying, which will more than likely mean he'll start from the back, which is not a great place to start here at Spa. It's a fairly difficult track to overtake because you get these massive DRS trains forming and you can't really go anywhere when you're stuck within them. Saying that though, this track is also famous for developing safety cars over the course of a race. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw at least one in tonight's race. Shizard on the flying lap, making his way down towards turn 8. And on the brakes, bringing it down to third gear, then getting it back on the power, heading towards 9 turn 9. Hash, are you going back into the pitch? Yes, you are. You're not completing a flying lap. Shizard heading down towards Puom, turn 10. Hard on the brakes, bringing it down to 7th gear, then back on the accelerator around turn 11. Now heading towards turns 12 and 13. Get hard on the brakes, bringing it down to 3rd gear, short shifting it back up to 4th, up to 5th gear around turn 13. Now into Stavalo, turn 14. This will end the middle sector. Now he just has the final flat-out sector to deal with. We'll be seeing speeds of up and over 200 miles an hour through this section. And it'll lead up to an incredibly deep braking zone at the bus stop chicane. Flat out through the Blanchimont curve, heading up to the bus stop, braking at the 100-meter board, bringing it all the way down to 2nd gear, down to 1st gear. In fact, at the apex of the final corner, he'll open DRS and cross the line to 1 minute 45.113. He's in front of Sir Jake here by 0.02 of a second, so it is quite tight between a few drivers at the moment, which is really good to see. What's also really good to see that it's a full field of cars for this opening race. 20 cars lined up on the leaderboard. It's absolutely fantastic to see. As Laquito here is going to begin a flying lap. And tell you what, I'm going to ride on board and give you a proper tour of this legendary racetrack. Around La Source, turn 1, 2nd gear on the exit. You can try and use a bit more curve on the outside just to try and open up the corner and carry as much speed as possible down the hill into this section. Eau Rouge and Radion. Slight lift there, a cautious lift, and I don't blame him at all. Eau Rouge and Radion is quite a nerve-wracking section. It's very easy to lose the car and put it into the wall. Now coming down the Camel Straight into Les Combes. This is the best overtaking part of the racetrack at turn 5, around turn 6, and now around turn 7. And he'll go down the hill towards turn 8. See a Ferrari getting out of the way there. Around the turn 8 sweeper. It's on the accelerator towards turn 9, no-name corner. Short shifting to 5th on the exit, trying to find that extra little bit of traction. Now into Puon, turn 10, 6th gear, then short shifting to 7th. Around turn 11, now up towards the S section, turns 12 and 13. You have to be careful with that inside curve at turn 12. Same story here at turn 13. You can see Laquito avoiding those inside curves quite nicely there. Around Stavalo, turn 14. Around turn 15. You have to be careful here for that reason. The backhand can lose grip. Laquito, he's fortunate that he didn't hit the wall hard. Otherwise, that could have been the end of qualifying for him. I've done that on a few occasions. That That run through turn 15 can be incredibly nasty. Very easy to lose the back end of the car. But fortunately for him, he is still in qualifying. Brum making his way out of turn 7, heading down the hill towards turn 8. He is one of 4 drivers still remaining in this qualifying session yet to set a lap time. He's making his way around No Name and heading down the hill towards Podium. And it appears as well from KD's weather report that there's going to be rain towards the end of the race. So it's going to be a dry start, but according to the weather, we're going to see some rain towards the end, some mixed condition racing around here at Spa. Definitely going to spice things up during the race, that's for sure. As Brum's making his way out to turn 15. No problems for him through the right-hander. Now heading towards turn 16 and turn 17. Blanchimont curve. Flat out through this left-hander. Now heading up towards the bus stop chicane. Hard on the brakes, bringing it all the way down to second gear. Back on the power. And just ever so slightly on the accelerator. You do have to be very, very careful on the throttle as Brum crosses the line and goes to P3 with a 1 minute 43.293. He is currently 1.5 tenths of pole position, which is still being occupied by KD 1997. And he's going to start a flying lap here. Out of the bus stop curve, he'll open DRS, head down the main straightaway towards turn 1. La Source gets on the brakes, bringing it all the way down to second gear, clips the apex nicely. Now he heads down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Haas getting out of the way there, nicely done. Through turn 2, 3 and 4, absolutely flat out there. Yellow flags are out as well from Mercedes-Benz. I think that would be JBH, considering Black Baller is still in the pit lane. First sector says for KD, he's up for by 3 thousandths of a second in the first sector. Out to turn 7 and heading down towards turn 8. He's down through the gears, down to third gear. Back on the accelerator, nice and gently, as he heads towards No Name. Keeping it in 5th gear, maybe missing the apex by a little, but not by much. Heading down the hill towards Podium. 7th gear, apex speed of about 163 miles an hour. They're heading around turns 12 and 13. Down to 4th gear, using plenty of inside curb. Around turn 13. Down towards Stavalo, turn 14. What will the middle sector split say for KD? He's up by just over a tenth, so he's found time in that middle sector. Could he get into the 42s? That is the question. Going to be really close. He's heading around Blanchimont now, absolutely flat out. And he has one big braking zone to worry about. And that's for the bus stop chicane. Down to 3rd gear, down to 2nd gear as he clips the apex of both corners. He'll open DRS and head up towards the line. It's a 43.069. He actually lost a little bit of time in the final sector, but he does improve by 7/100ths of a second. Nico, I believe you're on an in-lap, currently P4 with a 43.4. Just over a 10.5 behind Brum in P3. Mighty, oh hello, there's a Ferrari in the barrier there. For some reason, it's not appearing with any yellow flags. Oh, there's an Alpine off. That is Rebellion? Yes, it is. He's come off at turn 7. And he's parked the car. He's trying to get out of everybody's way. Now you have some clear road. Try and rejoin safely. Nicely done there by Rebellion. Nice and aware of the situation that he was in. I think he should have enough time left in the session to try and set another flying lap. Difficult to tell because there's a yellow flag indicator in the way of the timer. Around turn 1 goes Black Baller, currently 13th with a 1 minute 45.199. He is currently 2.1 seconds off pole position in 13th place, so he's looking to improve here. He'll open DRS and head down towards Laycom. What will the first sector split say for Black Baller? It says he is up by quite a bit as well, by 3/10 in the first sector. That is quite a fair bit of time, and that was a fairly decent slide as well, as he invalidates coming out of the Lacombe chicane. I was going to say it was quite impressive that he found 3/10, considering the majority of Sector 1 is flat out. There's only one braking zone in Sector 1. But he found a fairly decent chunk of time. Just unfortunate that he invalidated through the Lacombe complex. So Jake, he's currently down to the first sector. Is he on a push lap? Yeah, you're using a bit of battery, so you are on a push lap. Not anymore. Yeah, not anymore. He's put it into the wall, coming out of turn 7. Oh dear. Just lost control of the car, riding over the outside curb. Car didn't like it at all. Lost control, spun out. There was nothing Sir Jake could do about that. So he's out of qualifying. The best he can hope for is 13th place. Motion God is arriving on the scene. There's someone off the road in front of him, a Red Bull. Is that Chisholm? No, it's Easy Rider getting out of the way. Captain Schmeg appears to be on an in-lap, and we got 2 minutes left in qualifying, so as Black Baller has retired in the pit lane, so he doesn't have enough time to set another flying lap. So his session is over. That's really unfortunate. Axis on a flying lap, making his way around turn 1 and heading down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radillon. Currently, he's just over 1/10 of a second off pole position, so he doesn't need to improve by much, but it needs to be a pretty good lap. As he invalidates. Oh no. Well, I think he should have enough time. There's still 1 minute and 20 odd seconds left on the clock, so I think he should have time to get around. He just can't afford to dawdle around the racetrack. He needs to keep a decent pace. So he's fortunate enough that he's got time left on the clock, but really unfortunate that he made a mistake at turn 4. Cut a little bit too much, and as a result he copped a warning, and now his lap's invalid. As Motion God retires from the session, he's done that down the main straightaway, rather the straightaway after turn 1. There he is there. Unfortunately, Brum hasn't been impeded there. Out to turn 4, now heading down the Camel Straight. Brum will open DRS and head towards Lake Cod. Look at the peak speed here, 208, 209, 210, 211, 212 miles an hour as Brum improves by only 8 thousandths to the first sector. But as we know, you gain all your time here in the middle sector. Around turn 8, bringing it down to 4th gear, back on the accelerator, coming out of the short sweeper. Around turn 9, now heading down the hill towards Pouon. He did miss the apex by just a little bit there, I feel, at turn 9. Gets a nice run though through Pouon, using plenty of the racetrack, carrying plenty of speed, and it appears to be qualifying over for KD 1997 as well. So he can't improve on that 43 flat. He just has to wait and see what everyone else is going to do in terms of the lap time. Brum is up by 1/10.5 in the middle sector. According to the minimap, he's purple. He now needs to get through this final sector unscathed. Can he challenge for pole position? As Axis, his session appears to be done, so he can't challenge for pole position. Can Brum in the Alfa Romeo around the bus stop chicane, 3rd gear? He pulls it up. He gets around the final corner cleanly. He gets back onto the main straightaway, opens DRS, crosses the line. It's enough for pole. A 1 minute 43.035, beating KD by 34 thousandths of a second. Nico on his final flying lap, he's up by 3.5 tenths. That's a huge improvement, and he can challenge for pole, but he needs to find another 10th in this final sector, and it's very difficult to find an extra 10th in this final sector. There isn't much to it except for the bus stop chicane. Really needs to send it in here. Hard on the brakes. Brings it down to 2nd gear. Clobbers the inside curve down to 1st gear. Then short shifts to 3rd. He'll open DRS. Then cross the line. It's not enough. It's P3 for Nico with a 1 minute 43.156. And I feel that's pretty much the end of qualifying. Guitar Hero off the circuit there. so he's not going to improve. Hash here is making his way around Blanchimont, currently at a 46.1. Can Hash improve, or will he duck back into the pits here? He's going to try and improve. I've just caught his time in the top right. He's definitely not improving. So that's it. Qualifying over. And a nice one at that. Really tight between the top two at the end. Actually, it was quite tight between the top four. As we'll see here in the official results. 1.5 tenths separating the top four at the end of qualifying. But it's Brum who starts on pole position, followed by a defending Drivers' Champion, KD 1997. Nico will start P3. Alongside him will be Axis in the Aston Martin. Mighty Wombat P5, followed by Forward, then Captain Schmeg. Easy Rider will start P8, followed by SC Collider in 9th. Renner Jr. round out the top 10. Outside the 10 we have Rebellion, Shizant, Jake, Laquito, Black Baller, Guitar Hero, Motion God, Hash, JBH, and I didn't quite get through the rest of the field, so we'll do that during the formation lap. Now, you can see the cloud cover, and remember, according to KD's report, we are expecting some rain towards the end of the race. Should make things interesting. That's unfortunate, Guitar Hero. It does happen from time to time. When you get through an entire lap, you know you're on a good lap, and then you reach the final corner, and then you make one small mistake, and that ruins the whole thing. I've done it to myself on quite a few occasions. There's some racetracks where you can do that a lot easier than others. I think Canada is a perfect example, where you can put together a really, really good lap, but you know, in the back of your mind, that the final part of the racetrack is the Wall of Champions chicane. And that is a warning haven. It's really easy to cut either apex. It's really easy to put it into the wall as well. But yeah, it happens, man. It's just really unfortunate. Right, let's see who's starting on what tyre. Okay, it's a fairly convincing leaderboard. A lot of people starting on the mediums. So we got Brum, KD, Nico, Axis, Mighty Wombat, Forward, and Captain Schmeg. All of them are starting on the medium compound tyre. The only driver inside the top 10 who isn't starting on the medium compound tyre is Easy Rider in the Red Bull. He's starting on the hard compound tyre in 8th place. Collider's the next car, and he's off the racetrack doing a bit of lawn mowing. He's starting on the medium compound tyre. Same with Renner Jr. in the Ferrari. And Collider's teammate, Rebellion. Shizant in 12th is starting on the soft tyre. An interesting gamble, but he's looking to be nice and aggressive at the start of this Grand Prix. Try and make up places early. Sir Jake and Laquito, the two Haas drivers, are starting on the medium tyre. Black Baller in 15th place is starting on the mediums as well. Guitar Hero in 16th is starting on the hard tyre. Motion God in 17th is starting on the mediums. Hash in 18th place is starting on the softs. JBH 19th place is starting on the hard tyre. And Rafa, the only driver who I didn't get to mention during that run down through qualifying, starting from the back on the medium compound tyre. He retired early. I didn't catch if he retired in the pit lane or if he actually had some sort of crash during the beginning of qualifying. I didn't get to see. No, Rafa's got a lot of work to do from the very back of the field. And as I mentioned during qualifying, it's going to be incredibly difficult to pass. There's going to be a few DRS trains forming. And when you're in the middle of those DRS trains, you really can't gain time. You're just sort of stuck. So best of luck to those drivers towards the back trying to make up positions. Best of luck to everybody else trying to survive the early laps here at Spa. It's not easy, I can tell you. Get rid of the tyre graphic for now. We'll bring back up the interval graphic for the start of the Grand Prix. So Brum almost losing the car there. We'll start from pole position. He has the inside line for turn 1. So even if he gets a poor start, he has the ability to try and send it into La Source to try and keep his lead. KD is starting alongside on the front row as Nico's been disqualified from the formation lap. He's obviously overshot his marker, because that's something new in this game. You actually line up your car into your grid slot, and if you don't do it properly, then you get set back a couple of meters. Right, all 20 cars are lined up, ready to race here at this mighty racetrack. Where are the lights? The lights aren't coming on. It's just a long wait for something. Don't tell me we have a lobby glitch. You know, after all the glitches I've seen... Oh, well... Lights are now starting to come on. Not sure what's going to happen now because KD's left. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin shortly. It's lights out and away we go here at Spa. And KD, he's going to lose a few positions thanks to his AI. Into turn 1 we go. It's almost 3 wide there as drivers try and get their way through the opening corner as they head down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. It's Brum who leads. Axis in second. Mighty Wombat in fourth. Then KD, the AI, in 5th place. So he's lost 3 positions off the start. Forward in P6, then Captain Schmeg, who's in AI, mind you. Then Renault Jr. We've got a battle here. Almost 3 wide. Oh, contact! 3 cars off the racetrack! My goodness! A big collision at Lake Om. What a disastrous start. Several cars involved. Oh my goodness me. More yellow flags about. Drivers slowing down, trying to give way. For some reason. I'm guessing they overtook during the yellow flag period. As Raf has retired on track. Nico has left the session. Brum's left the session. Oh, I see. We might just be having a lobby restart. Alright. So that's what we're doing. We're going to have a lobby restart, folks. Oh, for goodness sake. We'll drop out of the session. Alright. Well, KD, being the lead coordinator, has made the decision to restart the lobby. Which is fair enough, considering the troubles we had before lights out. Well, it's good to see that even the old nostalgic glitches are still very much in the game. It just really reaffirms the fact that this is truly the greatest game ever developed of all time. Not only does it add in useless features that nobody uses, it keeps in the old glitches that keep reminding us that this is a Formula 1 game developed by Codemasters. It's great. Well, now we've got to sit here and wait. That's great. I'll keep an eye on the Discord so I can keep everyone updated. Oh. Goodness me. Hopefully this won't take too long. As long as everyone keeps an eye on the Discord and works accordingly, we can get this back up and running as soon as possible. But minus the problems with the game, it's actually really cool to see that we've got a full car field for the America series. I've done the America series since Season 2, and it's always been one of my favourite series to watch. So, and last season we saw numbers dwindle a little bit. The racing was still good, but the numbers weren't there. It's just really nice to see a full field of cars for this one. It's really, really nice. So, well, there's my invitation to join. This shouldn't take too long, hopefully. See, everyone's on their way. Don't worry about the one shot in 11 laps. KD's just trying to get people in here. He'll be changing the one shot to a custom grid. And he'll put on the proper race length. 22 laps. I'll tell you what, take advantage of this. We can check out KD's house. Because this is something they decided to add in for F1 22. This so-called F1 Life function. Where you can customize a living quarters that you apparently own. You can change the floor, you can change the walls, you can change carpets and other bits of furniture. Because that's definitely something a racing game needs. I've made comments about this in the past, that never in a million years would a gaming developer think of putting furniture customization into a racing game. Ever. Like, not a single developer, regardless of their experience of making racing games, would have ever put furniture customization in a racing game. No one. That's just how innovative, quote-unquote, Codemasters are. They were so focused on putting in furniture that they couldn't be bothered to actually fix the issues about the game. So, gotta love it. No, Katie's got a nice house. Collection of Astons, some nice... I have to say, the walls and the floor really complement one another. Nothing in the trophy cabinet, but I think that goes for just about everybody. Because none of us can be bothered to play career mode or my team. Because the AI are ridiculous. I'll accept that after the stream, Guitar Hero. It shouldn't take long now. We've got 19 drivers in the lobby, just waiting on one. Then we can get back to racing. You can also see how everybody's dressed. You can see some of the default characters out there. Something that I just love, right, with people customizing their player. Almost everyone is wearing sunnies. Like, you're indoors. It's just a little thing. Like, you do you, right? But, like, why are you wearing sunnies indoors? You always got to be protected from that UV light, I suppose. Yeah, there's my character. See, there's no hat, no shades, because I'm indoors. Why would you be wearing a hat and shades indoors? That's just beyond me. That's interesting. I actually pop up in the house. Even though I'm not a driver, I'm not selecting a driver, I'm just a spectator. Ooh, don't do that. No. Oh, there you go. I'll quickly check Discord again just to see what's what. Yeah, just have to wait a little while. Mr. KD's getting everything ready. It shouldn't take too long. Hopefully. I will say though, in absolute fairness, this is the first time I've witnessed a lobby glitch in F1 22. And I've done a few races as a commentator and as a driver as well. This is the first one since a few months ago, actually, when I did a race at France and we encountered the same problem. But that was a completely different issue altogether. Because there's another neat glitch in this game where if the spectator is also the host of the session, when drivers complete a formation lap, essentially the game freezes. And we had that problem in a race at France. Whereas this is some sort of connection issue that sort of screwed up everybody. So... Oh, what to talk about? Goodness, I'm racking my head just trying to think of something to talk about. Can't think of anything. I suppose I could go through the driver order, each driver individually, while we got the chance to. Because there's some names that I definitely recognise, and some names I have never seen before, ever. So let's see here. I'll get up my note sheet for PlayStation America series. Alright. I have it sorted like that. Alright. So over in Red Bull, we have Shizen, who's a driver who I've seen before. An Easy Rider, completely new name for me in the America series. Qualified pretty decently, I'd say, with a P8 qualifying position. And he was the first driver to start on the hard tyres, so he was planning to go long in the session. So it would have been interesting to see how Ryder would have fared against everyone else on the medium compound tyre. Axis is another new name, and he proved to be a very quick driver, putting it up in that top 4 region where everybody was quite close. He's partnered up with Guitar Hero, a driver who I've seen before. Mighty Wombat and KD, probably one of the strongest combos on the America Series grid. Two really, really capable drivers. Two drivers who can easily get podium finishes. McLaren will more than likely be the team to beat. Over at AlphaTauri, we have Nico as a full-time driver. Where's Nico? Where are you, Nico? There you are. He qualified in that top 4 region, so Nico is proving to be quite a quick driver, and a name that I haven't seen before in the America Series. Same with Motion God, but I believe Motion God is a reserve. Yes, he most certainly is. So, Motion God, he's not meant to be full-time in the AlphaTauri seat. That's to a driver named Fari_757, but he was unable to attend tonight's race. Over at Ferrari, got Renner Jr., another driver who is capable of getting podiums, and he's made the jump up from Alfa Romeo into the main Ferrari seat. And he's partnered up alongside Hash, a driver who I haven't seen before. Didn't have the strongest qualifying here at Spa. We'll see what he's like during the race. In Mercedes-Benz, we've got Black Baller, another very capable driver, can get top 10s on a fairly regular basis. Same story with his teammate JBH. Where is JBH? There you are. So Mercedes, very strong outfit. I reckon there'll be a top 5 team in the constructors towards the end of the season. Rebellion and Collider form the Alpine group. Two drivers who I've never seen before. Both seemed to do pretty decently during qualifying, if I recall correctly. Both of them kept out of trouble and set decent lap times. Over at Alfa Romeo, we have Ford 23 and T-Brum. Ford, I think I've seen before. I'm pretty certain the name is definitely familiar. This is a problem with doing so many different racing leagues. You do tend to confuse people, but I'm pretty certain I've seen Ford before. And T-Brum I've definitely seen before in another racing league. He's quite a capable driver indeed. Well, so much so he got pole position here at Spa. Over at Haas, we have Lequito. And the other driver is meant to be Noah, but he was unable to attend, so Jake has taken his spot. And over at Williams, we have Rafa and Captain Schmeg. There's Rafa. Didn't get a great qualifying together. Wasn't able to set a lap time. And Captain Schmeg, the old veteran of the America Series. He's been around since Season 2 when I started commentary for the America Series. So he's a driver who I'm incredibly familiar with. But with all that out of the way, I think we're going to go back to some racing. So I'm glad there was something to talk about. Oh, who do I think is going to be a black horse? Probably Axis or Nico, considering their pace during qualifying. I've never seen them race before, ever. So I didn't have any expectations of where they were going to be, and they seem to be front runners. So from my expectations going from Season 6 to Season 7, I was expecting KD to be towards the top. I've seen Brum race, I expected him to be towards the top 5. But yeah, Axis and Nico, yeah, they were a bit of a surprise for me because they're unknown. So... And hello, Prezzo, as well. Nice to see you all watching. Love you too, Wombat. Alrighty. Now, it's overcast. I didn't check the conditions fully. Not completely. But in the previous race, we were meant to see some wet weather conditions towards the end of the race. I saw the weather indicator showed an overcast sort of condition. It was just a cloud, no raindrops. So I don't know if we're going to have a fully dry race or we are still going to see some wet weather conditions towards the end. I guess only time will tell. Drivers, remember to put on a setup. I should have said that right at the beginning. I completely forgot. Because we restarted the lobby, you got a default setup. Put a setup on. Crying out loud, put a setup on. Because if you don't, you're gonna be screwed. For sure. Considering the wings drivers run around here, you're running usually less than 10 wings. See, in previous games, you could change your wing between 1 and 10. Now it's between 0 and 50. And for this track, from the Tier 1 drivers I heard from last night, they were running like 4-2 wings, which is extraordinarily low, but they were still getting enough downforce to go through the middle sector at ludicrous speeds. Mind you, they're Tier 1 drivers and they're aliens, for crying out loud. For myself, I think last time I did a race here at Spa, I ran a setup with about 8.5 wings, if I recall correctly. So, yeah. You do want a setup on your car. You don't want to run default. No way. Right. We do have a slight change in terms of who's starting on what tyre. So Brum from pole position starting on the mediums. Same with KD. Nico in P3, Axis in P4, Wombat P5, Forward P6, then Captain Schmeg. Easy Rider, he initially started on the hard tyre in the previous race. In this newly updated lobby, he's now changed his mind, he's starting on the mediums. Collider P9 is starting on the mediums as well, same with Renner Jr. and Collider's teammate Rebellion. Shizen is still electing to start on the soft compound tyre in 12th. So Jake and Laquito, they're both starting on mediums. Same with Black Baller in 15th. Guitar Hero starting on the hard tyre. Motion God and Hash, they're starting on the mediums. JBH on the hard tyre. And Rafa from the back of the field in 20th is starting on the medium tyre. So we've got 17 cars on the mediums, 2 on the hards, and 1 Shizant on the soft tyre. It's not a massive mix in terms of strategy. Saying that, hopefully we get to see some action, some racing out there on track. Would be nice. And of course we got that looming weather towards the end of the race, so we'll make things interesting. Rightio. Once again, Brum, starting from pole position, will have the inside line for turn 1. So if he gets a poor start, he'll be able to send it in and keep the lead. Not that you necessarily want it, because then you're just creating a hole for the car behind to follow down the Camel Straight. You do have to be mindful of that. Everyone's teams lining up as Sir Jake gets himself disqualified. See if I can't get a nice angle here of the start. That will do. We'll go with this angle. Because we don't get the nice starting angle anymore. They got rid of that for some flipping reason. Rightio, I think everyone should be lined up ready to race. We have got 5 red lights. And we are underway here at Spa. It's a nice start from KD. It's a nice start from Brum. It's a mega start from Axis. He swoops round the outside and takes the lead into La Source. Not quite. He runs away. Oh my goodness me. And Alfa Romeo gets mounted, I believe. Oh my goodness. And tumbling down the order goes Axis and forward. Hash is out of the session. Oh my goodness. We have a full course yellow. What on earth happened there? I think it was forward. Look at that, completely destroyed front wing. And KD down the order as well. I saw forward jump on top of somebody. I think it was forward. It was definitely one of the Alfa Romeos. What a bizarre start. I mean, Axis got an absolute blinder off the line. He was leading into turn 1. He went round the outside and used the AstroTurf to go around. But he got caught up in that accident. He's down in 19th. Captain Schmeg down at the back as well. Oh, what the? Forward and Black Baller have no front wing. Rafa's made up 6 places off the start. Oh my goodness me. KD started on the front row, is now down in 10th place after what happened at turn 1. The Alpines appeared to have kept out of trouble. They're in 8th and 9th. Laquito up to 7th. He's made up a few positions. He's made up 7. Shesant up 6 positions from 12th to 6th. Brum down 4. He too was caught up in that drama, but nowhere near as badly as the likes of Axis and Captain Schmeg. Renner Jr.'s up 6 places. Easy Rider is up 5. Wombat up 3. And it's Nico, who is now our race leader. Started P3. Now at the front. KD is going into the pit lane. And I imagine quite a few of these guys are going to come in to repair their cars. And with the damage model, it's not only the front wing that can get damaged anymore. The entire car. You can damage the rear wing, you can damage the floor, you can damage the side pods. So with some of those cars going aerial, I imagine a few of them might have floor damage to try and deal with. He goes forward. He's now on the soft compound tyre. Interesting. Black Baller onto a set of hards. He's going to try and go long on those tyres. Same with Sir Jake and same with KD. They have got a lot of work to do. I'll be really keen to see the onboards from those drivers' POVs. That's a pretty chaotic start at turn 1. And somehow Hash retired from the session from that incident at turn 1. Our first retirement of the series. Really unfortunate for him. Yeah. What a start. Right. Now, depending on when the back of the field catches up to this safety car queue, we might be going back under green flag racing at the end of this lap. We'll just have to wait and see. Now Black Ball is caught up to the tail of the field. I think the safety car will duck in this lap. We're only spending a little bit of time behind the safety car. Drivers need to get their tyres back up to temperature for the race restart. No, we're doing another... Really? Why are we doing another lap for? The entire field's caught up. That's just so unnecessary. See, typically the safety car lights go out at the beginning of the final sector. But it appears that we're not doing that. We're going to spend another lap behind the safety car. extend this period by another 2.5 minutes, which is less than great. A lot less than great. It's actually really irritating. Because formation lap periods are long around here. Safety car periods are even longer. KD damaged his front wing entering the pits. He comes in to try and get it fixed. And he'll be moving on to a set of, I have no idea, set of mediums. Those are the mediums he started on, because now you only got one set. You only got one set of mediums. Unless it's a sprint race and you've got 2 sets. Yep. KD back onto the tyres he started on. That won't phase him too much. Those tyres still be pretty good. He's just got a little bit of more work to do from 19th. So, not at all an ideal way to start off your season. Qualify on the front row. And after 2 and a bit laps, you're at the back. Definitely less than ideal. Oh yeah, we could probably get rid of the tyre graphic for now. See the position graphic. You can see the massive change. Drivers jumping up and tumbling down the order. Biggest winner of the start appears to be JBH and Rafa. Both of them are up 9 positions each. JBH starting 19th. These two were the last row. These two were row 10. They're now P10 and 11. Shows what happens when you keep out of early lap trouble. You can gain quite a bit. Laquito's done the same from 14th rather. He's up to 7th. Shezant has moved up from 12th to 6th. Renner Jr. started 10th. Now 4th. Easy Rider started 8th. Now 3rd. Mighty Wombat somehow avoided the carnage from those in front of him. He's in 2nd. And Nico's our race leader. Biggest loser. KD down 17th positions from 2nd place. Forward down 10. Axis down 9. Captain Schmeg down 7. Yeah, these guys have got a lot of work to do. Rightio, it's down to Nico now to control the field. He'll get to decide when we go back under green flag racing. We'll get rid of the position change graphic for now. Might bring it up at a later date. See there, Nico weaving about, trying to get temperature into his tyres, getting ready for the restart. You do not want cold tyres for a restart. You don't want cold tyres in general. They are really, really nasty to drive on. And Nico takes off through the bus stop chicane, coming onto the main straightaway a little bit sideways. But he keeps control of his car. It's now lap 4, and something's happened to Rebellion. He's dropped all the way down to 10th place. As Collider had to give up those positions, I believe he might have got an illegal overtake prompt. As Rafa goes down the inside into 10th place. Motion God trying to battle here with Axis. Heading down the hill towards Eau Rouge. Motion God gets in front. Axis can't do much about this. Sit in the slipstream. Try and slingshot by if he can. It's really difficult without DRS though. As Forward overtakes Jake. That was for P15. Collider re-overtakes Rafa. There is the overtake there at turn 5. And Axis. Appears that he's lost the position actually. I was trying to read that. But yeah, Captain Schmeg has overtaken Axis. Now it's Captain Schmeg who has to try and get by Motion God for 12th place. Easy Rider appears to have lost time to the top 2. He's now 1.6 seconds behind Mighty Wombat. So it's now just a 2-car fight for the race lead. The Easy Rider is steadily losing time to the top 2. Renner Jr. 8/10 behind. Easy Rider, then Brum, half a second behind Renner. Then it's Shezant on the soft tyre, mind you. Shezant's going to be awfully quick on this tyre. Not close enough to try and make a move yet. Then it's a bit of a gap back to Laquito. It's actually a fairly decent sized gap. As Rebellion goes round the outside at Blanchimont. That's a move and a half. And he takes P8 heading into the bus stop chicane. And there's Collider right behind as well. So JBH stuck in an Alpine sandwich as Captain Schmeg and Motion God battle for P12. Axis and Ford are going to get involved as well as they head towards La Source. Will Ford send it in here? He's going to try, and he's successful enough to get in front. Now Axis tries to get a run out of La Source, heading down the hill towards Eau Rouge. He now gets in front of the AlphaTauri and into P14. Guitar Hero overtaking Sir Jake as well at the entry. Oh, hang on, someone's lost control. It's Laquito. He's off the racetrack at the exit of turn 4, making a mistake and paying a pretty big price, going all the way down to 14. As Brum's retired, there's been a crash up in front. Renner Jr. is out of the session as well, and we have a safety car. Oh my goodness, as Sir Jake almost crashes with the two cars in front. Renner and Brum have come together at turn 7. You can see there Brum hitting the fence. Left-hand side of Renner's car. Oh, and Guitar Hero's out as well. I've just spotted his car. On the entry to turn 8, he's put it into the wall. So 3 cars out in the space of 200, 300 meters. So 5 laps in, 2 safety cars down. How many to go? Only one way to find out, I suppose. Now with this safety car period, it poses an interesting question. Will the drivers pit for the hard tyre? We've got quite a few on the mediums still. Will any of them box for the hards? Whatever. See what race leader Nico does. He's coming in. Wombat's coming in. Easy Rider's coming in. It appears they're going to take advantage of this opportunity. Shizant's coming in too. Rebellion stays out. So does JBH. So does Collider. So a few drivers are taking track position as Shizant speeds into the pit lane. Rafa really revving the car out there for whatever reason. Hard tyres being put on some of these cars. A set of mediums for Shizant. Interesting call there from the Red Bull driver. Hard tyres at the ready for Rafa. They get bolted onto the car. Laquito. Oh, as Rebellion's out. Rebellion's out of the race. What on earth has happened here? Oh my goodness, he's crashed. Did he crash into the safety car? He's right in the middle of the racetrack. What on earth happened here? Oh, well, no, you can see skid marks leading into the wall on the right-hand side. See if we can pick him up there. You can see the tire marks there. So he's hit the wall. He didn't hit the safety car. He's hit the wall somehow. Maybe he lost control of the car trying to get the tires or keep the tires within a temperature range. Or maybe... Oh, JBH has got a missing end plate. Hello. Interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Maybe Rebellion pulled up behind the safety car and JBH, unaware of Rebellion slowing down, hit the back of him, putting him into the wall? Because he's missing an end plate on the right-hand side of his wing. You can see it there. And he didn't have that missing end plate before this lap. If he did, he would have pit to get it fixed. What a bizarre start to a race we've had. So many weird things happening all at once. Even during the safety car period. Well then. That's left me bamboozled. I think JBH will be pitting in to get that front wing fixed. You have to. Yep, he's coming in. I don't know what he'll pit. Oh, did he start on the medium top? Let's find out. Let's stop. He's getting a front wing change. Medium tyres are bolted on. Is this his first stop or his second? Hard to tell because the pit indicator is in the way. Okay, that's his first stop. Righto, so he started on the hard tyres. So these are fresh mediums being bolted onto the car. And he goes from first all the way down to 15th. Oh dear. There's the position change graphic again. It's shuffled once more. 8 position gain for Collider. 5 positions gain for Captain Schmeg. He's suddenly in second now. Axis is suddenly in third. Nico down in fourth on fresh tyres. Motion got up 12 positions in fifth. Easy Rider's down to 6th place. He was running in the top 3. Now in 6th. Jake 7th. KD 8th. His teammate Wombat behind in 9th. And Wombat's on fresh tyres as well. So I wonder if KD will play a team game and let him through. If Wombat's got pace. If he doesn't have pace, then it's no sense to let him through. But if Wombat's got pace on those fresh tyres, will KD let him through? Black Baller rounds out the top 10. Then there's Shizant, Rafa, Forward, Laquito, and JVH. We got 5 cars out of the race. 5. You had that huge kerfuffle at turn 1, which resulted in Hash retiring out of the race. Then we had the skirmish at turn 7, where Renner Jr. and Brum crashed out. Then 300 metres down the road, Guitar Hero put it into the wall at the entry to turn 8, and something happened to Rebellion. Now, I've only been able to piece certain clues together, trying to work out what happened, but I'm sure I'll get context for it post-race somewhere. That is peculiar. That board got taken out as well. Did Collider take out that board? Oh. That poor board. Rest in peace. Styrofoam board. Oh, and Shizant's out. What on earth is happening? Shizant has crashed out at the exit. What? You can see his dot stationary on the race there. I was just reading chat. I glanced back up and he's out of the race. We're down to 14 cars. It's now lap 8 of 22. And Collider is our race leader. Captain Schmeg in P2. Axis in P3. Nico in 4th with his teammate behind. Well, I imagine it's not going to be for long. Easy Rider is right on his gearbox. Through Eau Rouge. Up the hill. Around Radion. Onto the Camel Straight. Easy Rider right in the slipstream, using up his battery as well. He closes in. Will he draw alongside? He's going to try to. Gonna have a look down here. Doesn't quite get enough momentum down the inside to really send it in. He has to give in and stay in 6th place. Down the hill towards turn 2. There's Motion God, there's Easy Rider, so Jake just behind, then KD, then Mighty Wombat, JBH and Laquito side by side, around turn 8, JBH with the inside line, and with the medium compound tyre, gets in front into 13th. His next target is Rafa in the Williams as they head down the hill towards Puon. 210 separate the 2 cars, so JBH not really in a position to attack. He can try and set up a move later on in the lap. This train of cars all tightly bunched up. Oh, and into the wall goes Motion God. He's out of the race as well. Another retirement in this chaotic Belgian Grand Prix. We're down to 13 cars. We're not even 13 laps in. We're 8 laps in. Look at this. It's a fairly big gap between P4 and 5. 3.1 seconds after 1 lap. Motion God doing Nico a favour. Just a little favour. Creating that gap. As KD's going into it. No, he spun. I thought he might have been going into the pit lane because he dropped down the order. No, he has spun out at the final corner. As Rafa and Laquito battle for 11th place. Laquito with the inside line. He leaves room for Rafa, who gets a decent exit out to turn 1. Will he try and create a move here at Eau Rouge and Radion? Surely he won't. He doesn't. That's a wise thing to do. Up the hill, the car bottoms out. Over the crest, the car becomes light. And now he heads down the Camel Straight towards Lake Dom. He's lost a fair bit of time, and I don't think he'll be able to challenge Liquito. Speaking of challenging, forward, Black Baller, side by side through turn 6, heading around turn 7. Forward is in front, not by much though. 2.5 tenths make that 3 tenths between these two cars. It's a really tight fight for 8th place at the moment. It's a tight fight between quite a few drivers right now. Still got this top 4 train featuring Collider, Schmeg, Axis and Nico as they head through the S section, turns 12 and 13. 7.5 tenths separating the top 2. So Collider building a margin just incrementally. He's almost built up a 1 second gap to Captain Schmeg. Captain Schmeg needs to stay within that 1 second range if he can. He cannot afford to not have DRS. Otherwise, he'll be a sitting duck. And Axis and Nico will more than likely swallow him up with the overspeed of the DRS. Mighty Wombat getting by Sir Jake. That is before Blanchimont. So Mighty Wombat is into P6. His next target is Easy Rider in the Red Bull. KD has overtaken Rafa as well. That is for P12. Heading down the main straightaway. It's now lap 10 and DRS is enabled. And Captain Schmeg is 1.3 seconds behind Collider. This isn't good for the Williams driver. He is really going to be a sitting duck down the Kemmel Straight. There's not much he's going to do about it. And as well, Axis has got a ton of battery in his Aston Martin compared to Captain Schmeg, who has about half that. Well, here comes Axis, DRS open, using plenty of battery, and look at the overspeed Axis has. Down the inside, he'll get him before the braking zone. Axis is into second place. Now Nico has to try and close in the Williams driver. They head down the hill towards turn 8. Captain Schmeg not close enough to try and launch a counter-attack. He has to stay in P3. Nico now has the job trying to get as close as possible to Captain Schmeg and try and create a move. Meanwhile, Easy Rider has closed the gap up to 2.2 seconds. It used to be over 3 seconds, so Easy Rider doing a nice job. Mighty Wombat 8 tenths behind. He's trying to catch up to the Red Bull. Sir Jake has lost a little bit of time as Shizant has left the session. Forward only 4 tenths behind Sir Jake, keeping this battle alive. As Mighty Wombat gets a 3 second time penalty for multiple warnings. Black Baller is within a second range of the 2 cars in front, so I'm sure he would like to get involved in this battle. It's a bit of a gap back to JBH in 10th, followed by Liquito, who has KD right behind him. You can see the flashing lights on the back of the Haas. He's low on battery as Forward tries to overtake Sir Jake. Sir Jake trying to fight back. Down the inside he goes into the bus stop. They're side by side. All contact there. Oh, and half spinning the car. Somehow Jake was able to gather it up. Black Baller, though, spins out. Gets on the throttle too eagerly. And spins down to last place. Down to 13th position. Collider now. He's fallen to within the clutches of Axis. Only 4 tenths separate these 2 cars. And here comes the Aston. DRS open, using a little bit of battery, draws alongside and slingshots by. An easy overtake. Same with Nico. He's taken P3 away from Captain Schmeg, so he's on to the podium now. We've still got a lot of racing to go through, though. We're only halfway there. Down the hill towards turn 8. Easy Rider is now 1.1 seconds behind Captain Schmeg. So he's doing quite a good job on those hard compound tyres. Mighty Wombat just behind, but he does have that 3 second time penalty he'll have to deal with towards the end of the race. Forward, he's got clear air in front of him, so he'll be able to push on those tyres. So Jake's just following behind. JBH now in 9th, 2.2 seconds behind. He doesn't have a toe, he won't have DRS, and he's got KD closing in at a rapid rate of knots as they head through turns 12 and 13. As Brum has joined the session, it appears that he's going to try and watch the looks of things. Around turns 14, heading around the final sector now. KD's actually lost a little bit of time. The gap's increased to 9.5 tenths. Battle isn't quite over at the front of the field either. Collider is still within half a second of Axis, who pits. He's pitting in. So off the tyres he started on. He's going to pit for fresh hards as Nico sets a new fastest lap, 1 minute 47.6. Captain Schmeger's come in as well. So, hard tyres at the ready for Axis. On they go. As Wombat has left the session. That is not good news at all. And the AI are only 70 rated, so they're not particularly quick. Nico, though, is definitely quick with that DRS enabled. Slingshots by Collider like it's nothing. And he's into the race lead. Collider, all he can do is try and follow. He's on the tyres he started with, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they are. So they're not going to feel great. KD, JBH battling for position. JBH, or contact. I think there was contact there entering turn 7. KD trying to keep the fight alive around the outside, but he gives in. Lets JBH keep position. KD, though, he won't give up. Tries to draw alongside. Not quite. He just wants to stay behind. Heading it out of no-name. Black Ball has overtaken Axis as well. In fact, they're battling for position heading towards Puon. Axis with the inside line. Black Ball on the outside. Black Ball on the older tyres. Can't really do much. He gives in. Lets Axis have position. He's into P11. KD still 6/10 behind JBH. Laquito's on the back of this too, as Mighty Wombat has left the session again. This is disastrous for the McLaren driver. He's having connection issues. They're striking him at the wrong point of the race. He needs to be behind the wheel, making the most of his position. And Ford's overtaken the AI. So Wombat down a place, down to 5th. Forward moves forward a place into 4th. Collider's still keeping to within a second of Nico, but those medium compound tyres have definitely seen better days. As they head down the Camel Straight, the gap increases to almost 1 second between the top two. Easy Rider looking at a potential podium finish here. So long as he keeps out of trouble, he's done incredibly well. Just managing his own race, looking after his tyres, doing what he needs to do. Forward, 3.7 seconds behind as KD overtakes JBH. JBH fighting back around the outside. He has the inside line for turn 7. Oh, and contact spinning! More contact as Laquito gets into KD as well. KD then tumbles down to 11th, 12th place. Captain Schmeg arrives on the scene. Oh, and KD spins again because of his overheating tyres and drops all the way down to 13th. There's a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, and KD unfortunately got the short end of the stick. He's still in the race though, that's the main thing, and we've got a long way until the checkered flag. Keep an eye on this 3-car fight. Laquito, Rafa and Axis. Axis has got the mega advantage of being on quite a bit fresher hard compound tyres, as KD's had another moment this time at Puon. And Laquito, he got involved in that little spin that KD had. I'm not sure, but he might have got damage from it. Front wing looks okay, but he might have sort of lime green damage. Sort of really finite damage that's difficult to pick up from a spectator's point of view, as Axis around the outside of turn 18. Gets into P9, gets by Rafa. Rafa, can he fight back here at turn 1? He's having a look, sending it in. Well, just a little bit. And to Axis's credit, he gave room. And it's now a drag race down towards Eau Rouge. Who's got longer legs? The Williams or the Aston Martin? They're side by side through Eau Rouge. Oh, what a battle that is. As Rafa gets back out in front. Does he have DRS? He does. Axis will as well, and he's got plenty of battery, unlike Rafa, as you can tell from the flashing light at the back of the car. Rafa, he can't fight that, I'm afraid. Doesn't have the speed to fight, so Axis is back through into 9th place. Now he has to try and close in on Laquito, so he can battle for P8. As KD pits, goes on to a set of hard compound tyres. He's now a long way behind. Really needs to rely on a safety car to bring himself back into this race. 7.5 tenths. Make that 8 tenths separating P4 and 5. So this battle isn't necessarily over. So very much on between these two. Hopefully Wombat's connection has been rectified and he can properly battle forward without any issue. As JBH gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He is one of 3 drivers who have a penalty next to their name. The other 2, the man on screen right now, Wombat, as I believe Collider is going in. Yes, he's going in. The 3rd driver is Laquito with 6 seconds worth of penalties. So what will Collider pit onto? Set of softs maybe? It's a gamble, but why not? Yeah, it's a set of softs. I like it. It's aggressive. Go for it. See what happens. You'll be able to push quite hard for about 2 or 3 laps. You do have to be careful though after those 2 or 3 laps. Those soft compound tyres don't last too long. But I like the aggression. It's good. It's Black Baller. Should get in front of Collider here. He does. Zero Rouge. Through Rad Dion. And I've just noticed forward has been overtaken by Mighty Wombat. So Wombat into P3. Axis. That's not Axis. That's Axis. Moving into P7. For some reason the game was looking at JVH. So Axis into P7. Laquito down to 8th. Rafa has got 3 cars right behind. And that's forward after the race. He has crashed out at the exit of No Name. There he is there. Stranded and dead on the inside of the racetrack. No safety car though. The game not bringing out a safety car for that incident as forward has left the session. Fair enough. I guess the car is so far away from the racetrack there really isn't a need to bring one out. Oh, look at this. This is starting to intensify as Collider is right on the back of Black Baller as they head around Stavalo Turn 14. Now a flat out run from here to the bus stop chicane. Collider can he close the gap? He is closing incrementally, bit by bit. Here we go into Blanchimont. You can hear a big lift there. Doesn't want to overtake Black Baller just yet. Got a nice run. He looks. Well, he sort of half commits to a move as JBH overtakes Sir Jake. Actually, that's Sir Jake going into the pits. Good to see that. Penalty graphic glitch still doesn't work. Oh, and that's Captain Schmeg spinning out at the final corner, dropping down to 11th place. And soft tyres are being bolted on to Jake's car, and away he leaves. There's KD, poor KD, all by his lonesome. Down in 12th place. Down the Camel Straight, here comes Axis with DRS open. He gets by JVH with absolute ease. He's into 4th place. His new goal now is to close to within 3 seconds of that driver. Oh, and something's happening here. 3-car fight between Black Baller, Collider and Rafa. Rafa's dropped down 2 positions to 9th. Collider up to 8th. Black Baller up to 7th. This fight is definitely not over. Collider still has the tyre advantage on the soft compound compared to Black Baller on the hard compound as they head down the hill towards Puon. You really can't pass here. You can only close the gap. You could try and pass theoretically into turn 12 as Captain Schmeg gets a 3-second time penalty. But Collider isn't close enough to try and create a move here. He can only continue to try and close the gap, get himself into a position to try and attack. Heading around Stavalo, turn 14. Heading up towards the notorious turn 15. You have to be careful here. You can hear a few lifts. There are a few safety lifts. It's a very wise thing to do through turn 15. Those curbs are really nasty through that right-hander. Around Blanchimont, see Collider closes in by a few tenths. Will there be a send? No, not quite. Stays behind. Just continuing to apply pressure. Axis setting a new fastest lap, 1 minute 46.5. Collider closes in that little bit more. He gets some DRS assistance. Looks to the inside and sends it in. Can Black Baller get the over-under? No, but he will get DRS. Will this be Sebastian Vettel from the real-life Belgian Grand Prix? Collider's pulling away, though. Built up a 4/10 margin. Doesn't get a great run through Radion, though. And here comes Black Baller with DRS open, using a whole heap of battery as well. Pulls out of the slipstream, looking to the inside. Will he send it in here into Laycom? He's trying. He's using some of the inside curb. Oh, he loses control, but gathers it up nicely on the grass. He loses position. Oh, but he's still in the race. Just needs to be careful now not to overdrive the car. I think he's gathered it back up now. That inside curve at Lake Com. It's a nasty piece of work. You run over the top of that, you can lose control of the car and put it into the wall. Fortunately for Black Baller, he was able to get the car nice and straight, get it back under control on the grass, mind you, and still be in this race. Meanwhile, Wombat closing in on Easy Rider. Wombat, if he wants P2 in this race, he has to pass Easy Rider and build up a 3-second margin. That definitely won't be easy. Easy Rider has been driving quite well. Oh, and a little slide there for Wombat. And it's not easy to just build up 3 seconds here at Spa. Lap times between a lot of the drivers tend to be quite close. Not only that, but even if Easy Rider gets overtaken, if Easy Rider stays within 1 second of Wombat, he'll get DRS down the Kemmel Straight, which will gain him about 3/10 every time he goes down it. Here comes Wombat, using up battery, using up DRS, looking to the outside into Lacom. Drivers give each other space. Around turn 6, Easy Rider gets lovely traction around turn 6, and he keeps P2. What a great bit of driving from both of them. Around turn 8, Easy Rider parks the bus. Lovely bit of driving there. He didn't run wide at turn 8. He hugged the inside like it was his favourite granny, as Martin Brundle would put it. And he prevented Wombat from going down the inside. That was just very clean, very smart driving. But with this battle going on, this man closes in. And Wombat doesn't want that. He doesn't want that at all. Through the S of turns 12 and 13. Do have to be careful with those curves. Those inside curves can be quite nasty. In fact, all of the curves here at Spa are nasty. It's just a really tough racetrack, Spa-Francorchamps. And if you couldn't tell that, well, have a look at the retired list, and that sort of gives you an indication of how tough this racetrack is. Liquito, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As these two head down the main straightaway, the gap is 0.4 of a second. KD now gives himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as Captain Schmer goes round the outside at Blanchimont. Used all of the racetrack and then some, but he's into 9th. What a manoeuvre. Oh, and Liquito spun at the final corner. A few drivers have lost control there, and Liquito can now add himself to that list. Oh, and Wombat closing in. And he's going to pass Easy Rider here. It's an easy overtake with DRS open. There's not much Easy Rider can do about it. All that the Red Bull driver can do now is stay as close as he can to Mighty Wombat for as long as possible. Never mind. Never mind. I opened my mouth, and Easy Rider's now got a penalty. Commentator's curse in full swing right there. As KD goes into the pit, I reckon he's going to pit onto the soft tyre and try and go for fastest lap. I think that's his game right now. Rafa on the back of Liquito. This battle is still very much alive between these two. Unfortunately for Liquito, 9 seconds worth of penalties is going to hurt him quite a bit. Especially if we manage to get a late race safety car, but I don't think we will now. As soon as the race leader crosses the line, I think we won't be seeing another safety car period in this race. Liquito starting to build a margin as Captain Schmeg adds on to his penalty tally. He's now up to 6 seconds. That's going to hurt him quite a bit too. It's going to cost him 2 positions. Falling from 9th to 11th. Collider on the back of JBH. Coming into the bus stop chicane. Collider looking around the outside at 18. Can he look down the inside at 19? Yes, he can. JBH, can he get drive? Yes, he most certainly can. It's a drag race down to turn 1. Collider has DRS, but he doesn't have the inside line for the hairpin. Collider can't do much to try and fight here. The exit of 1, but JBH makes a mistake and opens up the door for the Alpine. But he's going to he's going to stay behind. You can hear the big lift. He didn't want to be in front of JBH. He did not want to be in front of him at all. He wants DRS down the Camel Straight. He opens DRS. He's got battery to spare to use as well. Whereas with JBH only has 5% next to his name. So Collider into 5th place. That's gamesmanship right there. Big old lift just before the DRS detection zone. Collider did not want to give JBH DRS there. Don't blame him. Don't blame him at all. We saw what happened to Sebastian Vettel in the real life Grand Prix when you don't time and overtake accordingly. He got by Gasly, and he was in front of Gasly and Ocon. They both had DRS down the Camel Straight. They both overtook him down the Camel Straight. Yellow flags are out. It's Black Baller. He's made a mistake at no name. He's gone going again. And I think he won't be able to capitalise on Captain Schmeg's 6 seconds worth of penalties. Meanwhile, out in front, minding his own business, Nico is enjoying life as Laquito and JBH battle. Oh, JBH has actually lost a considerable amount of time. What's happened to JBH? He's all over the place. Has he got damage? Oh, he's got a puncture. He's got a front left puncture. Oh my goodness. He's done 13 laps on the tyres and they've let go with 2 laps to go. Oh dear. Black Baller. Oh, that's why. He too has a puncture. He's done 18 laps on those hards. It's too much for them to bear. And here comes KD arriving on the scene. He's on his fastest lap attempt. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Those fellas just went a little bit too long on their tyres. As a result, they got punctures. Really unfortunate. And will KD get fastest lap here? I reckon he just might. Yep, 46 flat. Well, 46.1 really. As Axis is... Oh, Easy Rider off the racetrack. This is at Pouon. He's made a mistake at Pouon and it's cost him a position. It will mean he won't finish on the podium. He's still looking at a really nice 4th place, but it could have been a bit more than that. That's really incredibly unfortunate for him. He's doing a really good job just minding his own business. But unfortunately, the track caught up with him. Let's see here. Not too many battles going on now. The race entering its final stages. Captain Schmeck here. I don't think he'll try and battle Laquito. He's got him in terms of penalties. So Jake is set to gain a few places thanks to the guys in front having pens. So I think Sir Jake will be looking at a 6th place finish as Black Baller gets a 3-second time penalty. Nico, he's just got one more lap to get around. And he'll take the checkered flag. He just needs to drive nice and cautiously. Hope that the gaming gods are on his side and don't puncture one of his tyres. And he can get to the checkered flag. Take the win of this Belgian Grand Prix. It's been a fine drive from Nico. Put together a pretty solid qualifying performance as well. See there from the position change graphic. Started in 3rd place. He kept out of trouble at turn 1. Kept himself towards the front of the field. Kept himself completely out of trouble over the course of this whole race. He's driven incredibly well. Around turn 14 for the final time. Now he's got one more sector to go through. One more big braking zone. And that's it for Nico. Up towards Blanchimont for the final time. I imagine he'll lift a little bit here. Oh no, he was actually using battery. He's going to try and go for fastest lap. I'll bring up lap data just to find out. Current fastest lap is a 46 flat. Nico comes out to the final corner. He'll head up towards the line and take the win of this Belgian Grand Prix. Well done, Nico. And a celebratory crash there across the finish line. Wombat will finish in P2. Axis will finish on the podium. in P3, missing out on P2 by 2 seconds. Easy Rider could have been a podium. It's not going to be in podium. In fact, it's not even going to be 4th place. Thanks to those 3 seconds he got a few laps ago, it will mean he'll finish in P5. Instead, Collider will finish P4 for Alpine. A fine drive from him. Captain Schmeg, P6. I don't think he'll stay there. I think he'll get demoted down to 7th. So Jake should take 2 positions here and does. So Jake will take P6. Captain Schmeg in 7th. Then Laquito. JBH will be the next car to cross the line. And he will keep P9 even with the penalties. There we are. And Rafa, he'll get P10 for his efforts. Nice drive from both JBH and Rafa. They both started on the last road. They both gained 10 places. Credit to them. Had a really, really solid race. KD, he's had a few incidents. And he vents his frustration, putting it into the wall. Understandably so. And our final finisher was Black Baller. 12th place. 8 retirements over the course of this Grand Prix. JBH given driver of the day. Fair enough. As he and Rafa made up the most positions out of everybody. And now it's time for the winner's corridor, I suppose. The winner's corridor of celebration, I suppose. Don't know really what to call it. Now time for the podium celebrations. Nico takes his first win here in Race Spec Esports America Series. What a nice place to do it as well. The legendary Spa-Francorchamps. What a great way to start off the new season of racing. So, the unofficial results of the Belgian Grand Prix. Nico wins by a fairly comfortable margin of 9.2 seconds at the end of that. Taking his first win for Race Spec and the first win for the new season of racing in the American Series. Wombat finishes in P2, followed by Axis, a nice recovery drive from him after what happened on lap 1. He finishes on the podium in 3rd. Collider, a fine drive as well in 4th place for Alpine. Easy Rider, what could have been for him, minus the penalty in that spin at Pouon. But it's a 5th place finish, a credit to him. So Jake from 13th finishes 6th. Captain Schmeg, he was towards the back at one point. He finishes in 7th. Laquito in 8th. JBH in 9th. Rafa 10th. It's a poor race for KD. Not the race he was looking for. He finishes P11. Black Baller, our final finisher, in 12th. Plus KD got fastest lap. Everyone else retired. Forward, Motion God, Shizant, Rebellion, Guitar Hero, Renner, Brum, and Hash. 8 retirements over the course of this Grand Prix. I have to say, out of the 3 races I've done here at Spa for Race Spec, this has certainly been the most dramatic and action-packed. This is what we tend to see from America's Series, and I love it for it. I imagine a few drivers will probably have some words to say after that. There were a few incidents here and there. But that's what racing is like sometimes. Sometimes you just have those really chaotic, retirement-filled races. They do happen, especially at Spa. Especially at Spa. No, that was good fun, I'd say. Really good fun. I enjoyed that. That's why I love American Series. Always love doing this. And it's also nice to be doing it in the middle of the day rather than late at night when you're tired. You're nice, awake and alert. Always enjoyed. And that, hope everyone in the chat enjoyed it. Certainly a lot of fun. That was absurd. Yeah, it certainly was, Captain Schmeg. Yeah, that was a race. That was a race and a half. Start you got and got punted. Yeah, no, I had that internet issue right at the start. But no, you came through to finish. Yeah, you did have to work for that one, Axis, after what happened at the beginning. But good job, man. You finished P3. Wombat GG as well, P2. Great start to the season. As I mentioned, McLaren are going to be a very tough team to beat. Although KD didn't have the best of races, Wombat, you certainly made the most of your position, and congrats to Nico as well. It was a superb drive, keeping out of trouble, just doing what you need to do, ended up taking a win. Well done for everyone who made it to the end. And quite a few who didn't, unfortunately, but that's what Spa is like, that's what racing is like, unfortunately. So, well done to everybody. But I think, chat, and to anyone who watches this post-stream, I think it's time to finally wrap everything up. Definitely the best race I've seen so far in Season 7. It was certainly quite a lot of fun. But I think with the race finally over, it's time for us to end the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll see you next week for round 2 of the championship. Circuit Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Yeah, the drama hasn't ended yet. We've got plenty of it coming next week. Because Zandvoort, that's a tricky place. A very tricky racetrack. But until then, everyone, it's goodbye.